All right, so welcome back. I know it's been a little while, but life happens, winter happens. But anyways, here we are. We are up in the North Cascades of Washington State. This is one of the more remote areas in the lower 48. Now, to kind of put it in perspective, the Olympic Peninsula, which is well known for Bigfoot activity, gets about 3 million visitors per year. Mount Rainier National Park gets about 2 million visitors per year. And Gifford Pinchot around Mount St. Helens gets about 1 million visitors per year. But up here in the North Cascades, we only get about 20,000 visitors per year. So it goes to show you the remoteness of the area. Now, this is an area I've been coming to for the last 8-9 years, and I've had a lot of interesting experiences that I can't really quite explain or vet out. I'm at the location of one of them where me and 3 other people had a back and forth wood knock experience with something out here in the forest straight ahead there. And so to kind of give you some insight, I think it was around 2020, a buddy of mine named Tommy Naff had some friends coming up from Oregon named Sean and Lisa Fay. And, they were kind of interested in heading out to the forest and seeing what's, just enjoying Washington forest. And so Tommy reached out to me and said, hey, I got these people, coming up. Do you know any good spots? So, actually, I do. This is an area where back then, when I would come out to, when I would open the door, there was a single wood knock, a home run sounding wood knock. And so that happened a few times, and that was the only thing that would happen during the entire visit. There was nothing else going on, no indication of movement or anything. It was just a single wood knock when I would open the door. So when Tommy asked me, hey man, do you know a spot that we can go? Maybe, I don't know, might have some activity or something. I'm like, dude, I know this is a perfect spot. And so I bring him out here and tell him kind of my experience and whatnot. And I'm like, hey man, I bet you as soon as we open the door, there'd probably be a wood knock. And so we go, we park, and we all open the door at the same time, and there was nothing. There was no sounds, no nothing, just nature. And I'm like, man, I feel kind of stupid. It kind of sucks. So I'm like, sorry, but they kind of understood. And so we kind of go down the path here a little bit. Now, this is an area that was logged about 40 years ago, according to Google Earth on their time lapse. And there's no real points of interest for anyone to come out here, no waterfalls or anything. It's just basically a dead-end road. And so I'm like, sorry, but let's check out this area. And so we kind of come down, and I'm like, I'm just going to go ahead and do a wood knock on a tree. And so I do, and it was on this tree right here in front of me. And surprisingly, we had a response back in the forest there straight ahead. I don't know how far it was. I'd probably say at least within 100 yards. And so we have this back and forth wood knock. I believe it was about 4 times, 4 of us, that we all experienced at the same time. And so it's really interesting. And Cosmo and I have been back here countless times. And this is also the area where we had something shadowing us in the forest. It's a video on my channel probably about 4 or 5 years ago, but this is the same area. And we never found out what it was. It kind of took off in the forest here because we tried to, trap it or triangulate it in a way that, we can kind of see what it is. But, we couldn't. And another investigator that I brought out here named Craig Yanni, he came out here by himself with him and his dog, and he talks about having a whoop happen, a Bigfoot whoop. And I think some other experiences that he had out here. And, this is an area where Cascade Bigfoot talks about having a bunch of Bigfoot experiences as well. I think it was about 2015 or so. So it's a really good prime area that I think if Bigfoot's anywhere, these are probably the areas that they are. And so what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and install some trail cams. Now I know that trail cams really are not going to do much of anything other than show what other animals are in the area, which is kind of what my goal is, just to kind of see what's going on. I know everybody kind of has their preference on where to go. Some prefer close to habited areas, others don't. I kind of like these areas right here where nobody really goes, because it helps avoid the human contamination of, you come across impressions or whatever, and it's less likely that it's human because, as I mentioned before, not a lot of people come out to the areas like this for whatever reason. I personally love them. The remoteness, how alone you are. And you can kind of see impressions here of something kind of coming through the area. Just being at the right place at the right time. Putting the right vibe out. Something that I brought up before is, I wonder if they test us by how we respond to certain stimulus, like rock throwing, wood knocking, tree breaking, tree pushed over, all sorts of things, really. Are you the type of person that's going to reach for a gun and start shooting everywhere because you're so afraid? Or are you going to embrace the sound, understand that it might be a form of communication, and somehow interact with it? So, see right here, has something coming through. Hear what? There's another break again. Keep hearing something back here. Because there's clearly something walking out in this area. I'm sure there's a lot of deer out in this area, or a fair amount. So you got grouse, cougars, bears, all sorts of animals. Something like this, it's all about being in the right area at the right time, I know trail cams, you only get a little sliver of opportunity to capture something. Literally worse than a needle in a haystack, with how many millions, if not billions, of acres of forests that we have to explore. Yeah, I'm kind of liking this area here. Look at this. So I'm not very far from an area that I've had a lot of interesting activity. Not sure what it is. I'm not far from a pond that in the next few weeks, if not month or so, there should be a lot of frogs coming in, which are only there for a short amount of time. And, it seems like it's a good area for, food source. And I think a lot of it comes down to better understanding the life cycle of a valley that you're investigating. And if you can understand when food comes in, when it doesn't, I think you'll have a better opportunity to kind of dial in where something like a Bigfoot might be traversing. I just love areas like this. So quiet, so remote. You don't have to worry about anything, anyone. You don't have to worry about trash anywhere. It's like heaven, really. But back to business, I suppose. You can actually kind of see something walking this way right here. Creating impressions. Right through these trees right here. And I'm kind of thinking this is a good area to deploy some trail cams. I think an important part of trail cam deployment is not deploying it in a place that you're going to get a lot of sword fern growth, and just kind of other growth that might impede the trail cam. And you kind of want to put it on a area where you kind of see some sort of impressions, even game trails. Really comes down to finding viable areas that will be best suitable. So I have 3 trail cams. 2 of them are a glow cam, and one of them is a no glow. Now again, I don't know if Bigfoot can see any IR spectrum, but just on the safe side, we got that covered. There's definitely something coming through this way. Especially right here. Kind of see how it converges. I think probably in this area might be a good spot. All right, so we are deploying the first trail cam. I'm using a triangulation type strategy where I'll have this one here, have the other one over here, and have the no glow over here. So I'll probably about 20-30 yards away. This is an open area, which gives you a lot of opportunity to kind of figure out what is making these impressions or what other animals are potentially in the area. So again, as I mentioned before, it's important to not have any sort of obstruction in your way. And I wonder if, like the last ones that I had, because I haven't really had a lot of success with trail cams. Cosmo has had far more success. I wonder if it's because I've been putting them up too high, or put them up in the wrong areas or something like that. But either way, here we are. Sure, none of these impressions are really coming up. I mean, who knows what's really making them. Either way, this looks like a primo area. Kind of see some movement that way. All right, so I got the other trail cam probably about 20, 25, 30 yards that way. And I think, you know, this area right here is a really good open area. Don't have to worry about anything kind of growing up, setting up the trail cam. And it seems like there's something coming through the area with all these different impressions or scuff marks. So, you know, it's just kind of important to see what's kind of going on. Definitely movement of something in the area. Not really quite sure what it is. Got one more trail cam to hang up here. Maybe all finished up. An area right over here. Got the two other trail cams back yonder. Now you can definitely see something coming back this area. It does not look like a deer. All right, so I am installing the last trail cam. This is the no glow. I got the other two trail cams right over this area, and so I'm covering this whole general area with whatever's making these impressions. And this is the same area where we had that back and forth wood knock. Not saying they're related, but you know, if anything, it's good to figure out everything that's in the area. So I'm going to go ahead and deploy the last trail cam here, and all you can do is hope for the best. And I got everything covered, so you know, definitely find out what's in the area.
And now the end is near, and so I face the final curtain. My friend, I'll say it clear, I'll state my case, of which I'm certain. I've lived a life that's full. I traveled each and every highway, and more, much more than this, I did it my